So the situation in Venezuela doesn't appear to be getting any better. And it actually looks at this point like the U.S. may go down there and start intervening in the way that we typically do, which means guns and bombs and tanks and jets, killing people, all because we want to take over all that sweet, sweet Venezuelan oil. And if you think I'm speaking in hyperbole, then I need to direct you to John Bolton, Donald Trump's national security advisor, and a statement that he made on Thursday evening talking to Trish Regan on Fox News. Because this is what John Bolton had to say during that interview. Venezuela is one of the three countries I call the troika of tyranny. It would make a difference if we could have American companies produce the oil in Venezuela. It would be good for Venezuela and the people of the United States. That short paragraph, that short statement, word for word from John Bolton on Fox News, you can find the video in the link in the description of this video. That tells you everything you need to know about what the American government's goal is for Venezuela. Now listen, the situation down there right now is exceptionally complicated. But what we do know is that the United States is backing the opposition party. Mike Pence actually spoke to their leader, I'm going to get this name wrong, so I apologize, Juan Guaido, spoke to him on the phone the other night and said, the United States has your back, we're going to do whatever you need, you let us know. And they want to overthrow, the elected leader, Maduro, because they don't like him. He's done some not great things down there. That's honest. If you say otherwise, you're lying to yourself. Maduro has not been phenomenal for Venezuela. However, the people elected him. I'm sorry, but that's what you have. Sometimes we elect bad leaders. You want proof of that? Look at the White House. Sometimes people screw up. Sometimes institutions, like the Electoral College, screw up. It's not the fault of socialism, it's just bad government sometimes. Capitalism can fail, socialism can fail. But what's happening right now is the United States has helped to screw over Venezuela and make the situation so much worse. We have made it to where Maduro could not be successful down there. And now we are actively trying to aid the man who is saying, nope, I'm president now. I'm the opposition party. I get to be president. And we're 100% doing it because we want to get our hands on the Venezuelan oil. You know, for decades, we've known that Venezuela is sitting on a huge pot of fossil fuel. And the United States has been dying to get at it. And now they see their opportunity. Because not only is there unrest in Venezuela, which creates the perfect, shoddy, but perfect for them, pretext to go in there and say, hey, we're coming in as your liberators. We're going to fix things. You guys are all screwed up. Let us come in and help. And in exchange, we're going to bring in Exxon and Chevron and Shell, and they're going to take over your oil industry, which is currently nationalized. I believe it still is. So yeah, those profits are going to come to us. The oil's going to come to us. But we're totally going to help you put your government back together because we did such a great job in Iraq that we're just going to bring it over here too. This is a disaster in the making, and I'm afraid at this point it's a disaster that is going to happen because this administration has been painting Venezuela as the enemy since day one. Anytime they want to talk about socialism, they always say, look at Venezuela, let's not become Venezuela. Our governor race here in Florida, Ron DeSantis, says, let's not turn Florida into Venezuela. Other governor races in the U.S. said that in the midterms. It didn't make any sense. But that's what they said. They want to plant the seeds in our brains that Venezuela's bad. Venezuela's horrible. So that way, when they finally do hit the point where they think, you know what, we can go down there and shoot some guns, we're all on board because we've been fed the lies for months and months that Venezuela is bad and the U.S. is the only hope that they have. But the real reason this government, our government, wants to go down there has nothing to do with Maduro, has nothing to do with the opposition party. All it has to do with is the fact that they've got a ton of oil and we want that for ourselves. And we will overthrow anyone on this planet, except of course Saudi Arabia, in order to get our hands on more oil. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget, if you like what you see here, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And now you can also become a member of Ring of Fire and get exclusive early access to certain Ring of Fire videos all throughout the week, just click on the little join button right below the video.